And I think it's very important for everybody to be engaged because that everybody's on the same page.
It's about, who's willing to change gears at the right time.
Go out, go have fun, and just take it to them.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler. It's time for another edition of the Chris Richardson Show. Currently joined by Wheeling University head men's basketball coach Chris Richardson. Chris, a pair of nice wins for you over the week. West Virginia State, you guys took them down on Saturday, beat West Virginia Wesleyan on Wednesday. Talk about the week of action and kind of what you saw from your guys.
I thought we came out of the gate, both games really good, and I thought we finished the first half, with just a lot of urgency, intentionality in terms of getting the best shot. And then Tuesday, we played well Saturday. We won the game. We had 21 assists. But Tuesday, our guys, and this was all unscripted. It was we had met for film, and we're going to go over a couple things in film. And they started talking about how, I think we could pass the ball more. And started with one guy, and then so I jumped in and said, who else feels like they could pass the ball more? Who else feels like they've taken shots sometimes and knew that there was somebody else open? And so everybody raised their hand. They start talking. And I thought our practices Monday and Tuesday were really good. And then we played that way on Wednesday night. We had 26 assists. We would have had over 30 if we could make a dunk. I don't know that I've ever in 23 years of being around college basketball every day, I don't know that I've ever seen a game with 5 missed dunks from one team. But we shared the ball. We played for each other. There was great enthusiasm. There was great urgency. And I thought we played not a full 40 minutes because there's still plenty to work on, but we did a lot of good things. And, connection on the court is one thing, but I think connection off the court can enhance that. And you saw that we were a really connected team on Wednesday night. And hopefully we can continue that because this group's been a lot of fun to coach because of just how selfless they've been. So if we can continue to be that way in the coming days and in the coming weeks, then I think we got a lot of good ball left in us.
And that was one thing I really wanted to touch on. On Wednesday, I believe 12 players scored at least 2 points, 15 saw the floor. Talk about what that was like to see them sharing the ball like that, no matter it was the starters, the bench, or the depth pieces.
Yeah, I mean, I think something people probably don't realize about our group, Zach, is we got 25 kids in the program, and we play 9 or 10, sometimes a little bit more than that. But most nights, most of the team doesn't play. A lot of the work is done behind the scenes in practice, extra hours in the gym, coming to film. There's some guys whose job mainly is to learn the other team's play over 2 days and then do it all again for the next opponent. That can be really hard. Every player is a competitor deep down. They want to play. But we haven't had one guy quit. Hadn't had to remove anybody. And that's part of the deal usually. Not necessarily the fun part of the deal for anybody, but it's just reality. It happens. We haven't had one guy quit. And so to have a group of 25 guys and only 9 or 10 are playing and everybody still shows up every day and puts in the work, when you've got an opportunity to put some of those guys in the game that work so hard, you want to see them have success. And then the best part is the guys that get most of the minutes were over there cheering louder than anybody in the crowd. And we had a really good crowd the other night. So just a special group of guys and excited for practice with them today. And again, I know it's going really fast here, but trying to soak up every moment that we've got together as a group because it's been a really fun group to coach.
And you guys had a really big day under the net, 50 points in the paint against West Virginia Wesleyan, led by T. Harris, Kurt Harrison, and then Trevor Beresford. Talk about those three and kind of how they handle their role under the net.
They all know what's expected of them. They've all been very selfless. I'm sure they'd all like to play 40 minutes because they're competitors, but they all understand when their number is called and it's their turn to play what they need to do for us to win. They all rebound the ball well. T is probably a little bit more perimeter-oriented than Trev or Kurt. Kurt can step out on the perimeter and shoot. Trev can shoot a little bit too, but it's just not something that he does a lot. It's not something we need him to do a lot. He's better around the basket, and he's really good around the elbows shooting the jumper. But, they work really well together. It's their second year playing together. And the best part about them isn't just them. It's the example they're setting for Drew Fitzwater, who's a freshman who got in the game the other night, got his first college bucket. He gets to see the maturity that they approach every part of the process with, from on the floor, off the floor, practice, getting up extra shots, the weight room, all that. And so they're setting a great example for him. And then they've all been really productive. Really happy for Trev because he's put in a ton of work. When he got here, he was so raw, and he had to be patient, and that wasn't easy for him. But to his credit, he stuck it out and he kept working, and he's gotten better and better and better, and he's having a really nice senior season for us. So all three of those guys, I love them to death. Two of them are seniors, and like I said, this year's gone really fast. I want to soak up every moment I have with them, but those are the guys that you want to do well for. Is your seniors, is your guys that are in their last weeks and months as a college player, and so. I think you get that with our team, and those three are a great example of it.
And one of those seniors who's really been the catalyst to your offense lately, Caleb Murray, tied his career high with 30. He's really been on a roll over these last 8 games. What's worked for him as he's kind of matured into that big score for you guys?
You hear a lot about shooters. Coaches talk about how they have gravity, right? They pull people with them. So Caleb's always going to be accounted for by the defense, and it's the same thing with great point guards. Like, they have gravity, and we've got a great point guard too in Aiden Gull. But so when you attract that much attention, it means that when somebody else has it, or you set a screen for somebody else, or you cut, or there's somebody going with you. So it opens things up for other people. And then when other people start to get going, it opens it back up for you. And so Caleb's really bought into the total picture. A lot of nights we've asked him to guard the other team's best player, on the perimeter, and he's stepped up to the challenge with that, pretty much the entire season. But there's also, we talked about last week, there's also a little bit of an urgency for a senior that, hey, I've got limited time left. Like, just watching it as a coach is kind of cool, because you can just see how locked in they are on every little thing. They're the first guys to raise their hand and ask questions or make points while we're watching film or going over scout. And then they spend a lot of time in the gym. So he's been playing well. His teammates have been finding him. He's been finding his teammates, and he's keeping things simple. And when he keeps things simple and doesn't try to, overthink or sometimes play too hard in a situation, stay out of foul trouble, stay out of turnover trouble, then he's really, really good. And I think we've seen that in the past couple games for sure.
Currently joined by Wheeling University head men's basketball coach Chris Richardson. And Chris, with this recent string of success, your offense has really upped their game. They're averaging over 90 points per game. We know your defense plays hard every night, but talk about that offense and kind of how they've grown together.
I've said all season, and I still feel this way, that we haven't reached our full potential offensively yet, and that takes some time because you get used to how people are playing you. As the season progresses, they try to take different things away, so you got to find different counters. But we're getting closer to playing our best offensively. We're still not there yet, but we're putting together the rebounding piece. Our transition offense early in the year was, in a word, tragic. It's gotten much better. We're finishing better in transition. We're making the right reads. So, offense has been a work in progress all year. And when we talk about playing our best at this time of the year, offense is a big part of that. So it helps when you make shots, but you got to get shots the right way. You've got to take the right shots, and you've got to avoid the empty possessions. And I thought against Charleston, some of those empty possessions caught up with us. In the past couple games, we've been really cognizant about trying to limit them, particularly in the second half on Saturday against Wesleyan. Or on Wednesday night, against Wesleyan. So still a lot of work to do on that end, but we're making shots right now. More importantly, we're getting the right shots. We're sharing the ball, and we don't care who scores. And, that's kind of the foundation of everything offensively, is not caring who scores and getting the right shots and avoiding empty possessions. So we got to keep that going.
And you guys are getting ready to head to Davis and Elkins, a close game here at the McDonough Center last time out. You guys get the win. What do you learn from that matchup that you take on the road with you at Elkins?
Yeah, they're going to play really hard. As soon as the game ended the other night, it's the first thing our seniors were talking about. We're going into a tough place to play. It's always a good game with them, no matter where it's at, whether it's here, there, or last year at West Banco Arena. It was a heck of a ball game as well. So, they're good. They're talented. Matthew Gray and Vegas Evans are playing at a high level. Dontrell Jenkins is a guy that can get going. Their point guard does a great job of making open shots, but also getting everybody involved. Okoroji is a guy that's a veteran that can make shots, but he's also really physical, really aggressive, both offensively and defensively. Starks can make shots. Roach is a good player. They've got a lot of pieces, and they've played a ton of close games. And they haven't won all of them, but they compete night in and night out. And those teams that do that speaks to their culture, to the type of kids that they have. And we got our hands full, and we have to understand, we kind of escaped here. They're going to be thinking that we kind of stole one from them here because of some of the plays and shots that we made at the end of that game. So we got to go in there and play a lot better than we did here, and we got to play better than we did Wednesday night or Saturday. and it should be a good game. I'm excited to get down there and compete because it's always a great game with the Senators.
And finally, you talk about not having reached your full potential yet. What are some things you have to do over these final few weeks to kind of get closer to that so that you're at your full potential come the MEC tournament?
We got to rebound the ball better. We got to eliminate turnovers. We got to eliminate empty possessions, which are possessions that aren't turnovers, but that are bad shots or breakdowns on what you're trying to run. Sometimes it's a focus thing, sometimes it's a detail thing, but we got to eliminate those, and especially having those back-to-back possessions or 3 out of 5 possessions or so on and so forth. Those turn into field goal droughts, and field goal droughts can get you beat. So that's offensively. Defensively, we got to rebound the ball better as well. I think our pressure has kind of – it hasn't been as effective in recent weeks. A lot of that has to do with how other teams are attacking it, but we got to ramp our pressure back up, when we get into it and create more deflections. Deflections always tell you how hard you're playing and how active your hands are, and so we got to get more deflections. I think if we do that, it's going to put our defense in a better spot. If our defense is in a better spot, we're going to have more opportunities in transition, to score with an advantage, in the numbers. So got a lot of work to do, and it's time of year we not only want to be playing our best, but we want to be our most excited about playing. This week, the past 10 days or so, we've seen that, but that has to continue. And, this team's got a chance to do some really big things, and we understand that, but they're not going to happen if we skip steps in the process. And the good thing about having veterans in our program is they haven't skipped any steps. Skipping steps is leaving or packing it in when it doesn't go your way or breaking apart. They've taken every step to get our program to this point over the last 4 years, and we have more steps to take. And so job's not finished, and excited to get out on the court with them this afternoon and get ready for this stretch run.
Thanks, Chris. Good luck this weekend. Can't wait to see you out there.
Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.
And I think it's very important for everybody to be engaged because that everybody's on the same page.
It's about, who's willing to change gears at the right time.
Go out, go have fun, and just take it to them.